Welcome to Target Market Insights, the multifamily and marketing podcast. Each week, John Kasman interviews multifamily and marketing experts to teach you how to find the best places to invest, attract investors, and grow your portfolio. You are listening to Target Market Insights with your host, John Kasman.
Welcome to Target Market Insights. I'm your host, John Kasman. I'm the founder of Kasman Capital Group, and I want to thank you for joining us for another great episode. Now, if you like this show, and if you're enjoying the podcast, getting great value, give a little bit of value back. Real simple, real easy. All you have to do is leave us a 5-star rating and review. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Now, if you're interested in multifamily and want to review a sample deal, you are in luck. We have a special download on our website of a sample deal package. Just go to kasmancapital.com/sample deal, and you'll also join our mailing list to get tips and exclusive investment opportunities. Today, we're going to be talking to a social media pro and a young gun, Mr. Chris Salerno. Chris, by the time he was 24, he had sold more than $40 million of real estate volume and helped lead the number one real estate team in the Carolinas to produce more than $140 million in annual sales. Named as Charlotte's 30 under 30 Elite 50 Entrepreneurs, Elite 50, 30 under 30 Entrepreneurs, and nominated for Forbes 30 under 30. That's a lot of accomplishments, man.
Thank
All
you.
right. Chris's vision has led QC Capital to quickly become a well-respected, high-return investment firm. Let's welcome to the show, Chris Salerno.
John, thank you very much for having me. I'm extremely excited to be a part of your show.
Chris, good to have you on. Well, listen, I know we've had a couple times to talk and get to know each other a little bit, and you're in the Carolinas and doing your thing. But, you know, we kind of went into your bio. You had a lot of different things that you were being recognized for, especially at such a young age. How did you get jumping into real estate at that age of really, I guess, before 24?
Yeah, great question. So I started out in the residential industry and very quickly gained a success in that industry. Going into it, I went to college, 4-year college. The college was 4 years. I didn't complete the 4 years. I went to Winthrop University. I ran Division I track for them. Very quickly, I realized that college is the best business. And why is that? Is because the student loans that the government owns, they're guaranteed their money. That's the only loan we cannot file for bankruptcy on. So I realized that, and I said, that just doesn't sound right. You know, you're locked into a loan for the next 40 years paying off this for a piece of paper. So I then started researching, and I knew that 90% of extremely wealthy people, and my goal was always to become a billionaire, and it still is to this day, that 90% of them have real estate holdings. So I started studying real estate very heavily. After a year and a half, I left college, got into real estate school. I was actually working 2 jobs before real estate school, but I was studying at a very high level. And I'm the type of person that I put my back against the wall. And as humans, we work better when we're under pressure. Back in the old days, when we would have to hunt for food, we would go out there and hunt for our tribe, for our food, and we would have to bring something back or we would starve. So I took that into today's modern world, where I quit both of the jobs and I jumped straight into not multifamily, but single family at the time. And I said, I will make this work no matter what happens. I had a certain amount of cash, and I knew that cash would come down because I had to spend on marketing and advertisements. So I knew what I had to do to make sure I grew success in it. And very quickly, I gained a success in it. And then that's when I transferred into the multifamily industry after that. This will actually be my 3rd year mentoring my previous, at Winthrop University, my 3rd year mentoring the business department. So I mentor the kids there on how to become successful in business, but I was told that I cannot tell them that I dropped out. So I don't bring that up, but I love giving back my knowledge and helping people and watching them grow and succeed. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, I think it's great anytime you can find what you're passionate about, no matter what steps you've taken prior to that. You know, there's this notion of sunk cost where just because you are at a certain point or you've invested a certain amount of money or knowledge or time into a certain thing doesn't mean you have to keep going down that pathway. So even though you were in school and you said you spent 4 years there?
No. I spent a year and a half in school.
You spent a year and a half there. Got it.
It was a year and a half. But
Got it. So even at that point, recognizing that, hey, maybe this isn't the thing I really want to do, figuring out what your passion was, working hard to do that makes a ton of sense. Let's fast forward a little bit there. You obviously have had a lot of recognition, named, the Charlotte Under 30, the Elite 50, the Forbes. Was that all tied to kind of your work on the real estate side as a broker? Oh, you freeze up for me there?
Yes, I froze up. Are you
All
there?
right,
Okay, I
sorry about
see
that.
you.
I'm there. All right.
Sorry.
Let me ask that question again. All right.
Yes.
So we've talked about all the accolades you've received so far: the Charlotte's 30 under 30, the
Correct.
Elite 50, the Forbes 30 under 30. Was that all tied to your work as a broker?
That was all tied to, yes, the Elite 50 entrepreneurs and the 30 under 30 Elite 50 entrepreneurs is tied to my multifamily. As a broker, the Charlotte's 30 under 30 is tied to that. The nominated for Forbes 30 under 30, which my goal is to win that award, which will be under the multifamily financing industry. So yes,
Awesome. Awesome. Congrats on all that recognition. I know
thank
you're
you.
out there working hard. Let's fast forward to that multifamily side. How did you get
Yeah.
jumping into multifamily?
Yeah, great question. So, like I said, jumping into to single family real estate sales, I put my back against the wall, and I knew you have to do that if you really want to achieve your goals. And I have big goals. Not everyone plans or tries to strive to become a billionaire, but I do, and I have big goals to reach there. So I have to make sure that my work ethic and what I have in place will reach me to hit those goals. So when I made that transition, I was selling. I had my last month I had it was like 16 homes closing my last month.
Okay.
I can't remember that number, don't hold me to it, but it was like 16 homes closing my last month. And I made that transition and I jumped straight into multifamily. First, I knew getting into the multifamily industry, I needed the top coach in the industry. I needed to find a way to get the top coach in the industry because I used to coach people. I'm creating a coaching program now, and I used to give small seminars on sales teams of different type of industries to sell their product. And I knew that to reach my goal, I needed a coach that had the same driven and the same mindset and the same goal in mind that I had. So I did some research, networked, came across a couple people, found that coach. I then hired that coach in December of last year. And I hold myself very highly accountable, as we can see. And from that, December of last year, I said, give me 6 months. I'm done selling real estate. He says, okay, Chris, I'm going to hold you to it. 1 month later, February 1st, 2019, I called him up. I said, I'm done. He said, it's only been a month. I said, well, I work best when my back's against the wall. I will make this work and I will not fail. And he says, all right, let's go. So when us as humans put our backs up against the wall, we're willing to do whatever it takes to achieve our goals. We're willing to call 100 people a day. We're willing to go to networking events and start handing out business cards and networking with people if we know that that's what we have to do to survive. So that's what I did to get into it. And since then, February 1st, we'll have a little over 25 million. We close on another property next week, which would be over 40 million. But right now we have a little over 25 million and around 188 units. But next week that will definitely skyrocket.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. I think that
Thank
definitely
you.
goes to show, taking action and getting in there. As you talked about kind of taking those steps, I think that there's a lot of folks who hear that and say, wow, that's incredible. You went from where you were in December to, now $20+ million. Can you give a little peek behind the tent about how you were able to kind of take those steps so people can understand that, hey, there's a little bit of stuff that you can do here to kind of get some wins and start building your business as you're scaling, kind of ramping everything up?
Yeah, great question. If anyone follows me on any social media, Instagram, Facebook, I do post this type of content out there. And I have one video that I was giving to a younger gentleman who pulled me aside after a networking event, and he asked me a question. So I wanted people to film this so they heard about it. And my biggest thing is do whatever it takes. When I first got into this industry, I found a top operator who he lives an hour and a half away from me. I found the top operator who was growing substantially. And I knew that he recently just purchased a property that was only about an hour and a half away from where I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I told him, I said, I want to go out there 3 times a week. I want to be a fly on the wall. I want to understand the operation. I want to know the ins and outs of this business. I want to know everything. And I did that for free. I did it. I went out there to gain the knowledge. I technically didn't do it for free because knowledge is power, and knowledge is money long term if you know how to implement it. So that's how I really got started with the knowledge and building that relationships and networking. I think every day I start phone calls at 8 a.m. and I probably end around 6, 7, but I answer emails. I have 2 podcasts a day. I talk to around 15 people a day. 15 to 20, I'd say, on the phone about real estate, about investing in real estate, about the Carolinas. So I'm networking. I'm getting my name out. I'm building a brand. And you have to do whatever it takes. This one individual, he called me up, and we all know Grant Cardone in the 10X conference. He said, my business partner is sick. He can't go to the 10X conference. It's tomorrow. My plane leaves tomorrow morning. Do you want to go? I said, give me 20 minutes. I'll call you back. I looked at plane tickets and they're like $4,000. I mean, outrageous because it's tomorrow morning. So I looked at my fiance at the time. I said, I'm going down to Florida. We're going to hop in the car at 1 o'clock this morning. Do you want to come or not? And she looked at me and she knew she could not say no because she knew I was going. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to reach my goal. And she said, yes, that's fine. I called him back up and I said, hey, I'd love to attend. I'll drive down late this night. I'll see you tomorrow. And I drove from Charlotte, North Carolina, all the way down to Miami to network with him and to network with like-minded individuals in the multifamily space. So if you are getting into the space or any career you're thinking about, in my opinion, do whatever it takes. Find someone who's that's already reached your goals that you have and ask to work for free. I promise you, they will not turn down labor. Ask to work for free. Drive them around. I've done that. I said, I'll drive you around just so I can gain the knowledge and listen to you speak. So no matter what career you're in, just go ahead and work for free. Ask to gain that knowledge because knowledge is power if you know how to use it in the long run.
No, great points there. I love it. So just really getting out there, finding ways to add value to other people, figuring out how do you get the knowledge, how do you continue to grow, figuring out what your weaknesses are, figuring out how do you start to gain the knowledge to overcome those things, but ultimately doing whatever it takes, getting on the phone calls, getting your name out there, being vulnerable. I think those are really important parts. You started by talking about Facebook and social media. Let's switch gears and talk about that. I know that you've really started connecting with more investors using social media. You've got a pretty good following right now on Instagram and some of the other followers. How are you using social media in particular to connect with investors?
What you just said, you said that previously, you're adding value. You're giving them something that they need. So what I do is I look to add value, and I am on the younger side of life. And my goal is to show everyone, one, they can build wealth through multifamily real estate. When you're driving by these large apartment complexes, a lot of people say, oh, that's $50 million. I can't own that. Well, technically it's not 50 million. Technically you're only bringing 20% of that, the purchase price of 50 million down, and the bank's bringing that other 80% if it's an 80% LTV to purchase that property, but multiple people can do it. So that goes to partnering and getting close and networking with people that can do it. So when it comes to it, I add value by giving people knowledge throughout my social media platforms. If you follow me on Instagram, Chris_Salerno_, you will see I do daily motivational videos. I do live videos on a daily basis. I give updates on how my properties are performing. And then I also show my family. I show that, yes, you can work your butt off. You can go and achieve these big things. But it's also important to settle down and have family time. I'm expecting a little boy in January, and I'm super excited about it.
Congrats, man.
And thank you. I appreciate it. And from that, I know right now I got to work my butt off because he's going to take a lot of sleep from me, which I'm fine with. But I know that right there is that time balance that I'm giving out that education to people on social media where they can see, okay, you can actually work your butt off to reach your goals, to go ahead and buy these larger properties, to invest in these larger properties and build wealth. But then you can also have time for family. You can also spend time with friends and build relationships that way. So my biggest thing is just giving back knowledge. I created a closed Facebook group that actually it's a public Facebook group, Mindful Multifamily Network. And that right there is just for people to network with each other. It's no rules at all. You can market whatever you want because to me, I'm helping people grow. I'm helping people gain that knowledge so they can build wealth.
Yeah, I love that. You said a couple of things there that I really want to reiterate. You talked about
Yeah,
adding value through social media, talking about the mindset, the daily motivation, creating groups and creating opportunities to drive engagement. And you started talking about, a property. I want to make sure everyone understands when you talk about multifamily and these big deals and these big numbers. I think a lot of folks, as you mentioned, they think about it and they get not even intimidated. They just ignore it because it doesn't seem like anything that is in the realm of possibility. So you focus on a 2 unit or a 4 unit or a
they're
10
not
unit.
thinking big enough.
You're not
You got to
thinking big
think big.
enough. And I think really it comes down to understanding how some of these deals get done, right? So we're talking about
Correct.
multifamily syndication, where you get to pool resources together. And instead of one person taking their $100,000 and buying maybe a $300,000 asset or a $400,000 asset with that, they invested with another group. So you get 10 people with $100,000. Now you've
Yep.
got $1 million. You can go and buy a $3 or $4 million asset together. And with that comes the economies of scale where you can hire a property management company, you can hire on-site teams, you can, really put a team in place. So it's now running a business as opposed to
Correct.
simply being a landlord. And that economy of the scale actually make it much easier to drive efficiencies, to make great cash flow, and to grow your business and continue to replicate that because now you're building those networks and the net worth comes out of building the network. So in focusing in those things, now you're really creating some opportunities to scale and it gets easier and easier and easier. So when you see these people who are closing deals or you see these big numbers getting thrown around, part of it is because people are smarting up. And instead of trying to do everything by themselves, they're realizing, man, let's form some partnerships. And
Yeah.
Chris, you talked about that going down to, your partner, the guys who are close to you near the Charlotte market and figuring out how do you add value to them? How do you, continue to get into that group, build a network, build a relationship with those individuals. That's how you get ahead. So really great points that you talked about there in social media. I want to dive into it a little bit more. You talked about the Facebook group that you
Yeah.
have. What are you doing when it comes to Instagram and LinkedIn?
Yeah, great question. So when it comes to Instagram and LinkedIn, I'm very heavily on Instagram. Like I said, I do daily motivational videos. I do live videos. I give updates on how my properties are performing. And then I also show my family side of things. I show my travel, what's going on in my life. So I really lay it all out on the table. It's not scripted, nothing's like that. I don't like it to be scripted. I want people to really relate to me, relate to my story and what I had to do to get to where I am. And with that, I hope to give. The reason why I want to give all that out and put it all on the table is because I want to help educate people to reach their goals. I want to have them have that mindset to reach their goals. So I'm very heavily with just posting content, posting informational and educational when it comes to multifamily and creating a deal and positive mindset and positive energy. We were chatting before this and you asked me how my day was and I said it was amazing. Every day in my book's amazing. Because I have that positive mindset, that drive, and the willingness to do whatever it takes to achieve my goals and to succeed that's how I've trained my mind. I promise you, if you start to implement that, when people ask you, how are you? And you say amazing, people are going to say, wow, wait, what'd you just say? Because I get it all the time. They're like, you're amazing? Yeah, I'm amazing. It's a beautiful day out. I'm healthy. I'm alive. I have a beautiful family. I'm amazing. I'm doing great. That really helps, and it helps feeding off other people. And that right there is what I hope to do through Instagram is people feel my energy right now. They feel that through my Instagram, and I get countless messages on a daily basis saying, thank you so much for the motivation. Keep it up. You're motivating me to take my business to the next level, to work harder. And that's why I do it, is because I want to see other people succeed. On LinkedIn is more business. I do post my videos, some videos on there, not all my videos. I do post all updates on what's going on in the markets I invest in and what's going on in multifamily. But I do have a admin assistant that scours every single one of my LinkedIn connections and reaches out to them personally. And then once they make that initial message, then I go out into it and reach out and dig deeper. And then I set up a phone call afterward. So that's right there has definitely scaled my business. LinkedIn, you have more business professionals. So if you can leverage that by reaching out to them, I've had countless calls with CEOs in the previous 3 weeks just off LinkedIn, because I'm letting them know what I'm doing and how I can add value by, if they raise money for any of my deals, I can let them know how I can add value to them to make them money, and they like that.
Awesome. Awesome. So it sounds like Instagram is really a combination of driving motivation, but also giving a glimpse to your life, right? So showing the family life, just sharing that out there, trying to motivate people. LinkedIn, a bit more business, a little bit more professional. There is trying to find ways to be a bit more direct, I guess, in the relationship, how you can add value. I think people on LinkedIn to obviously build connections and build relationships. So kind of letting them know, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's how you may be able to benefit from what I'm doing. And then if there's something that you can obviously hop on the phone call or go from there with it. So with LinkedIn, I mean, you talked about reaching out to folks. What does an initial email even look like, right? Or let's just say message look like? Because I think some folks you can obviously, all of us can search CEOs or search for whatever you want to search for. How do you successfully engage in a conversation with one of these individuals where they are interested in hopping on the phone with you and learning more about your business?
You got to add value to them. Number one thing is understand what they do. You know, on LinkedIn, it tells you what they do and what type of business they're in. But when you reach out to them, you got to add value. But the biggest thing, and this is what I've trained sales people to do. So this is probably a $10,000 training course that I'm about to give you guys. And here it is. What you do is you find that connection first. Every individual I've reached out on LinkedIn, we all have mutual friends in common. So the first thing I say is, hi, my name is Chris, or I don't even say that. I say, hello. I see we have mutual friends in common. I would love to connect with you. Bam. That's it. Straight to the point. But they know automatically when you're selling a product, this is probably a $10,000 training program and you're getting it for free. When you're selling a product, the biggest thing you do when you first go in, if you're door knocking, or when you first go in to start to sell a product, you find something in common. So that's what I do. I go to them and I find that we all have mutual friends in common. So I say, hello, I see we have a lot of mutual friends in common. I would love to connect and learn more about your business. And then everyone I've reached out to 2,342 or 47 people. Only one person said no. Now that's a good ratio. If only one person one person says no out of all that. So you can definitely see my previous month has been packed with phone calls, but right there adds value. I'm adding value. We have friends in common. I want to know and understand your business. And then we hop on a phone and then we talk about our friends in common. Then we talk about our businesses and how both of our businesses can benefit both of our clients and each other. That's the biggest thing on these phone calls. How can my business benefit your business and your clients? And how can your business benefit my business and my clients? And we work together. Just like you said earlier, when you go to purchase these larger multifamily properties, because we're doing apartment syndication, we're doing it together as a team. People are pooling their money together to buy a larger asset to reap the cash flow benefits than if you would just go buy Amazon stock and put 100,000 by yourself and hope Amazon stock goes up tomorrow and that it keeps rising. But if you do it in multifamily, I love multifamily because it's a necessity. We need a place to live, but we're pulling it together. So when you come up on those terms that we have mutual friends and that I want to help benefit your business, then successful people want to help benefit people. So they're going to want to help benefit your business as well.
That's awesome. That's a great tip you just gave there. All right. So we're going to jump right into our bullseye round. All right. You ready to do this, Chris?
I'm ready.
All right. What is the book you've recommended or gifted the most in the last year?
Ooh, that's a good one. There's two of them. So as everyone knows, my goal is to be a billionaire, and I know I will achieve it with my mindset. It is Mistakes Millionaires Make. And that was actually, my coach recommended it to me, and I am recommending it out because it's about how people built a net worth of 200 million, lost it all, went negative in debt, and then rebuilt it back up. So each chapter is built off of different people and different type of businesses. So it's great to learn from them.
All right, give me a digital or mobile resource you recommend for your business.
I would say all social media platforms. You need to be on everything. When you're growing a business in today's age, you need to be in front of everyone. Facebook, Instagram. I mean, how many users are on Facebook? Over 3 billion or so. Same with Instagram. So be on all social media platforms, and you just have to get your name, your face out there and add value to people.
What is a daily habit that helps you stay focused on your goals?
Ooh, a daily habit. Daily habit is that, I don't know if it's a habit. Well, I do meditate every morning and evening. In the mornings, I meditate to get my mind right for the day. In the evening, I reflect on what I did and if it was productive instead of busy, because we all get into the productive and busy role, and it's a big difference. But my daily thing that I do on a daily basis is I make sure my goals are written down. Here's a little sticky note right here. It says that my net worth will be $1 billion, and I will do it. But if you look on my laptop, if you look on my lock screen on my iPhone and my wallpaper on my iPhone, all of it is $1 billion because that's my goal. So I'm putting it into my mind that I will achieve that goal.
All right. What's one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you were starting out?
To get into multifamily. If I knew that and knew the scalability that it had to build wealth and to help other people build wealth, and not just build wealth, but build financial freedom to spend more time with your family, I would do it. I treat it like the game Monopoly. And my fiance, she has a 7-year-old and she's going on 24. And we play the game Monopoly, and they have hotels, but we call them apartments in our family. And she's getting the idea of buying land, putting apartments, and reaping the cash flow. So I just wish I knew it at a very young age, which I do, but it would have been nice a couple years ago.
Absolutely. All right. So this is going to be an interesting question for you.
Okay.
Since you are doing some tutoring and mentoring right now, what advice would you give to a smart, driven college student about the real world?
Ooh, I get that a lot. A smart, driven college student, the advice I would give would be, one, know what you're going to do. You know, if you're going to go to college to study English, in my opinion, I don't understand why. You've been speaking English for 20 years. If you're going to go to college to be an attorney, a doctor, anything like that, yes, you need to go to college. I want my doctors to go to college. But when it comes to business is such a broad spectrum of a career that you can do anything you want in business. So I would say to give advice to a college student is really narrow down what you plan on doing, what your goals are. And I spoke with an investor this morning about multifamily. And I said, what are your goals? That's it. You need to figure out and sit down with yourself, what are your goals, and then how am I going to achieve that goal, and what do I need to do to achieve that goal, and then make the decision if college is going to be beneficial for you or not. That would probably be my best advice when it comes to college. But you really need to sit down with yourself to figure out what you want, where you want to go, and would college be beneficial to help get you there.
Chris, what are you curious about right now?
Ooh, that's a good one. You got me on that one. What am I curious about? I'm really curious about just to see where the future holds. I mean, I'm driven, and I know that I know I will achieve my goals, but I'm curious on really leaving a legacy. And my point is how I want to leave a legacy is I see it as how many families I can touch. Meaning how many families I can make wealthy, or how many families I can create financial freedom for, and show them and open their eyes up to multifamily. So I think I would be curious on how many people I can help build financial freedom through multifamily real estate investing.
All right. And you said that your goal is to be a billionaire or have $1 billion net worth.
Correct.
What's behind that? Why $1 billion? What are you hoping to accomplish by getting $1 billion?
People's doubted me plenty of times. So one, to prove them wrong, but two is because the way I see how money flows, and how money flows, especially in America, is money buys things. And the more money you have, the more people you can help, in my opinion. So my goal is to have a net worth of $1 billion. And from there, once I achieve that, I will sign that pledge. So when I die, 50% of my money goes back to charities of my choice. My mother has stage 4 breast cancer. Thank goodness she's treated it the whole healthy, natural way, where she's able to cure it by natural tea and herbs. But a big thing is a private institute for women to cure breast cancer, but the natural way, not with all these chemicals and everything that all the government and all these big doctors are making money off of. And then something that really touches me is that animals. So dogs. I love animals. I love dogs and cats because you can get mad at them. You can yell at them for going to the bathroom in the house, but they're still happy to see you. They're always joyful, no matter what. So I want to build no-kill shelters here in the Carolinas where dogs can not worry about anything. They can come and go as they please. So that's really what's backing me and pushing me to build my net worth to 1 billion, because I know if the more money I have, the more people I can help and help them. So.
Awesome. All right, Chris, last one, man. Give me the best place to grab a bite the next time we're in Charlotte.
Oh, next place. Well, every place is a good place in Charlotte, except one place, but I won't name that place. I would say I'm big into speakeasies. I like speakeasies around here, and there's a wonderful place called Cellar at Duckworth, which it looks like a sports bar, but you go down to the stairs and you open a barn door, and it's a speakeasy. They have the best mac and cheese you'll ever have. They cook it in like bacon grease and ham, and it is to die for. If I can ship it to you, I would. But it is to die for. Best hands down. I'll even buy it if you don't like it.
I love it. Well, listen, we look forward to that. Next time we're in Charlotte, we'll definitely have to keep that in mind.
Yes.
Chris, how can all of our listeners catch you? Where can they find you on social media and get in touch with you?
Yeah, wonderful. You can find me on social media, especially Instagram at Chris_Salerno_. I would highly recommend going to my website, qccapitalgroup.com, and go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter. That is the main point of contact, because once you do that, I'm able to go ahead and get your phone number and give you a call and connect with you. So those are the two quickest and easiest ways to get a hold of me.
Chris, well, thank you for coming on Target Market Insights. You gave some great information. Love hearing you talk about motivation, what kind of keeps you going, clearly understanding what your goals are and what it takes to accomplish those goals, the steps you're taking to make that happen. Congratulations again on the new baby boy you've got on the way. And we wish you the best of luck, man. So thanks again for coming on. And I know I'll be in touch, but we'll talk again soon.
Oh, for sure. Yes, John, thank you so much for having me.